Good Wednesday morning, Houston. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro. Let's get you ready for this weekend. It is a weather impact alert weekend starting on Saturday, lasting all the way through Monday, the early portion of Monday. That's when we're going to be tracking some bitterly cold, freezing temperatures meeting up with moisture, so the threat for ice is there, and with that comes a threat for some power outages. So I want you to get your home ready over the next couple of days. That's what I'm going to be doing today, tomorrow, even into Friday. We're good to go for making those preps. That means we need to keep the P's in mind. First, people, make arrangements. Do you have a family member or friend that has a generator? Perhaps you can reach out to them now and ask them if you could stay with them over the weekend. It's good to plan ahead before you lose power yourself and then you're kind of stuck, unsure as to what to do. Pets, if they typically sleep outside, they need to be inside. They could be in the garage. They need blankets as well. Plants, if they're sensitive, you need to bring them inside or you need to cover them. Pipes, lots of our homes are not insulated, so you need to make sure that those are wrapped, especially exposed pipes. And beyond that, pools, if you have a pool, you need to make sure that there's a way to keep that functional so it doesn't have any disruption while we get these freezing temperatures. All right, let's walk you through the big spread because this is going to be a statewide event and not everybody is going to be hit with the same impacts. So right now the models are giving us snow potential for the panhandle, but a huge ice threat slashing through the majority of the state. And this is a big concern because, well, first of all, it extends all the way to Houston. So yes, we are likely to see ice on our roads, which leads to the obvious travel impacts. But also, if we track ice accumulation in central Texas, that could lead to our power lines, our transmitters being affected. So that's why we have that concern for a power outage that could last more than 24 hours. That's why hit the grocery stores today. Have a plan as to what kind of meals you're going to have if you do lose power, if you aren't able to access your refrigerator or you lose the contents in there. I have a couple things in my freezer that I've already started to thaw and cook yesterday, today, and tomorrow, just so I don't lose that money in case my fridge goes out. European model is giving us a better case scenario for us here locally on our streets, but even in central Texas, North Texas, it's still giving substantial ice accumulation, which would have trickle-down effects for us here in southeast Texas. Because if those transmitters go out, if those power lines go down, we're going to be impacted here, regardless of if we see ice on the roads. Now, the GFS, the American model, is being more aggressive with this, bringing us the ice potential all the way down to the coastline. Again, still highlighting a good chunk of north and central Texas for higher accumulation. Right now, this is just an idea of what we could see, so don't get stuck on the actual numbers, but half an inch to an inch of ice accumulation is substantial. The weight of that is what leads to those power lines going down. Even a light glaze, a tenth of an inch of ice, or for 1/100th of an inch of ice, which is what this particular model has in store for downtown, is going to lead to dangers on the road. So basically, this is a weekend that you are just going to have to stay put. And as you stay put, find a place where you can be without power. So extra blankets, like I said, potentially reaching out to a friend or a family member that has a way to get a power source that has that generator. Here's how things are going to evolve. So today, you look outside, we've got moisture in place, so our temperatures are very warm. So it's just rain for today. I'd even call it a warm rain, a mild rain. As we go into tomorrow, we're mainly dry, we're quiet. Friday evening, rain returns. This is already when we're transitioning into the Arctic air that is pushing south this weekend. So you'll notice the panhandle already in the teens. That's cold enough to support snow. So they're expecting some snow accumulation, Amarillo to Lubbock. Then you'll notice the pink shades, that's the transition into either sleet pellets or some freezing rain, ice on the roads. That's from Midland, Abilene to Dallas. Austin, Waco, not quite cold enough for ice just yet, and Houston isn't either. As we go into the overnight hours, that's when the cold air spills further south. Then you'll notice most of us now transitioning into that potential for ice. Panhandle still seeing snow accumulation. Now, why is the Panhandle seeing snow and why is Central Texas seeing the pink? Hey, even Abilene, you'll notice these temperatures are well below freezing, so why are we not seeing the snow potential? Well, it has to do with the different layers of the atmosphere. So in the Panhandle, the upper, middle, and lower levels of the atmosphere are expected to stay below freezing. That means a snowflake forms aloft and stays a snowflake as it comes down to the ground. In Central Texas, the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere are right on the fence. They could be too warm. So that snowflake melts as it's traveling down to the surface, but because those surface temperatures are at freezing, once that raindrop hits the surface, it freezes on contact, and that creates the ice threat. For us here in Houston or closer to the coastline, Saturday afternoon, we're going to be right on the fence. Temperatures aloft are way too warm, so we're not concerned with snow here, but temperatures at the surface are starting to cool off closer to the freezing mark, 32 or below. That's going to happen during the overnight hours. So as we're waking up on Sunday morning, we're at freezing or some areas below that already. So you'll notice the pink now spreads to Houston, potentially reaching the coastline. All day on Sunday, or at least a good chunk of the day, we're going to be right on that fence of freezing or just slightly above freezing. And so whatever moisture we get is expected to create a glaze. Monday morning, the moisture has stopped. However, whatever is still left on the ground that hasn't evaporated will refreeze and keep that glaze of ice. So that is something that we'll have to monitor through Monday morning. Travel may not be a good idea. Through Monday afternoon, temperatures do bounce up well below freezing. Whatever's left over will melt. We'll be fine by Tuesday. So that's a lot to digest. We're going to start with the immediate. So the first spots to see the winter weather concern, Panhandle to North Texas. So the American model is giving the potential of the Panhandle getting upwards of a foot of snow. Some areas more, some areas a little bit less. Oklahoma, Arkansas, those areas are going to see a season's worth of snowfall, or perhaps double that, as we head into just the start of this winter storm event. So a winter storm watch, get ready, has been issued for North Texas, the Panhandle, West Texas. In fact, it is just shy of our Southeast Texas viewing area. A watch means get ready. This is going to get upgraded pretty soon to a warning. That means the cold air, the moisture is already here, and now it's just time to hunker down with the preparations that you have already made ahead of time. Look at the cold air that is headed to Houston specifically. So morning low temperatures tomorrow, very mild, 60 degrees. Friday, very mild, 56, then a sharp drop. We'll start you off at 38 on Saturday. Throughout the day, temperatures are going to get colder. So much so that by Sunday morning, we're well below freezing. We're in the 20s. 26 degrees to start you off Sunday, continuing to see those temperatures drop during the overnight hours under clear skies. 22 degrees again. Monday morning is still going to be a concern for some of that glaze, some of that black ice, hazards for you to drive in. So significant travel issues, not just all across Texas, all across a huge chunk of the country. So this extends even into the Carolinas. This is going to continue throughout this weekend into the start of the coming week. Hard freeze possible. Those temperatures are going to stay very cold, below freezing for an extended period of time. So if you are without power, you need to find a way to keep your home warm. So perhaps if you have any gaps in the doorways, make sure you find a way to wedge those gaps, get extra blankets, make preparations like that ahead of time for the potential of us to lose power. Something to note about today, now that we've covered our bases for this weekend, Yes, we've got shower activity today, but it is just that run-of-the-mill rain. It does make for some visibility issues, so you are going to see on and off heavier downpours from now over the next couple hours until about lunchtime. 61 degrees, so we're going to take a very, very quick turn over the next couple of days temperature-wise. Be ready for that. You'll notice this is a live look at radar, so there are certain spots that have some really heavy rain. There are other spots that are just the stratiform, light, constant, steady rainfall. Regardless, keep your umbrella handy with you throughout the day. All right, what I'm seeing right now, showers pushing in from northeast Harris County into Liberty. Those look pretty heavy. There's another batch of rain that is moving in from the southwest side, pushing towards downtown, and then more moisture coming up to 88. Let's take a closer look at downtown right now. Not much of a concern there, just very light rain. Light rain for the Heights. A couple of heavier downpours moving in from Lamar Terrace to Westheimer. Main Street, light for now. Then I showed you that batch of moisture that's moving in from the southwest side. So Richmond, you already got hit with some heavy rain here a couple of minutes ago. Pecan Grove, you're getting some modest rain in your area, and Sugarland, heavy downpours right now. That is all going to move up northeast. So Bissonnette to Meyerland, you're going to get that heavy rain here in a second. 288, same deal. So heavy rain from Lake Jackson up to Angleton, Redfish Cove, heavy rain. And this is pretty much the worst of it that we're going to see from now until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and things are going to start quieting down. You'll notice Eastgate, Dogwood Acres, Sheiks, same thing. So pockets of heavy rain here and there. By 1 o'clock, most of the moisture is now moving to our eastern cities and counties, so Liberty all the way down to Chambers. A couple of showers working their way up the coastline, but not quite pushing inland. That will continue until about 3. And then, yes, on and off moisture possible on the lighter end, though, even through the early overnight hours tomorrow. But that's not a concern. Neither is the rain that moves in Friday night. It is Saturday's rain, Sunday's leftover moisture, and even Monday. That gives us the possibility of freezing rain. Again, Monday there's no rain chance. However, whatever's left over on the ground from Saturday and Sunday would have the opportunity to refreeze under these really cold temperatures that are moving into the area. So because of that, these 3 days are ones to watch. I'm getting lots of text messages from my friends asking about travel. Hey, I have a flight coming into town Saturday. I have a flight coming in on Sunday, on Monday. Are those going to be impacted? It is very likely that you're going to experience travel delays across the country. This is going to be an issue. So if you can get back in town or leave, depending on what your time frame was, Saturday through the early part of the day, morning to early afternoon should be okay. The later on that you get on Saturday, especially into Sunday morning, that is going to be a time frame that is really, really tricky for travel and for the grid. So that's why these days are in red. Monday, again, even though the moisture wraps up, freezing temperatures are going to be dangerous for people exposed and also for any travel plans as well, because like we talked about, the refreeze potential is there as well. So the weather team has issued a weather impact alert for those 3 days. We are going to have all the Mets in house. We're going to be watching this very closely. There are still some details to sort out in terms of the freeze potential here in Houston. You saw the European and the American aren't quite in consensus just yet. Regardless, this cold air and the impacts across the state are going to be felt right here at home. Our next newscast is coming up at 12 o'clock. I will walk you through any model updates that we have then.